In these problems, we're dealing with rates, as in, for most of them, a rate of speed. And there's a famous formula that comes up a lot in math and in science classes. Some people call it the DIRT formula because it's written d equals RT, or distance equals rate times time. And this is going to come up again and again, so it's a good one to get familiar with, and we're going to use it in a couple of these problems. Let's look at the first one. It says it was 165 kilometers from Percy to Rimrock. Okay, so we have Percy here, we have Rimrock over here, and it's 165 miles between them. Sorry, kilometers. Camille raced to Rimrock, so she goes all the way to Rimrock, and idled back to Percy, so she comes back. She went there fast, she came back slowly. If the round trip took 11 hours, what was her average speed in kilometers per hour? This is the perfect kind of problem to solve with the DIRT formula. We have a distance, and here you got to be a little bit careful because her distance isn't going to be 165 miles because she goes there, that's 165 miles, and then she comes back. That's another 165 miles. So 165 plus 165 is 330 kilometers. So that's her distance. And her rate, we don't know. They're asking us what was her average speed. Speed is rate, so we're looking for that. And then her time, they tell us, is 11 hours. Whenever you can fill in numbers for two of these variables, you've got it made. You can always solve for the third one. So I'm going to go ahead and sub in the numbers that I have. Distance is 330 kilometers. And the rate we don't know. And then the time is 11 hours. Now, I want to solve for r. I want to get this variable alone on one side of the equal sign and all the other numbers on the other side. To do that, I have to undo whatever has been done to this r. And right now, what's being done to this r is that an 11 is multiplied by it. So to undo that, I have to do the opposite. And the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide this side by 11 hours. But the rules of algebra say whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other side. So I've also got to divide this side by 11 hours. On this side, the two 11 hours, the one on the top of the fraction and the one on the bottom of the fraction, cancel. And I get r left all by itself, which is perfect. That's what I wanted. Now I know my answer is going to be this over here after we do a little bit of math. All we have to do then is take 330 and divide it by 11. And that should be 30, I think. And then we keep the units. We have kilometers per hour. So 30 kilometers per hour, which makes sense. We're asked about a speed. That's a speed. So that's the answer for that one. Let's take a look at this next one. It's maybe a little more complicated. It says it is 1.5 miles to the end of the trail. Already I'm gonna make a diagram here. So here's the start of the trail. Here's the end of the trail. Sorry, that's not 1.5, that's 1 2/5. Okay, so 1 2/5 miles to the end of the trail. If Adele walks to the end and back in 60 minutes, what is her average speed in miles per hour? Again, we're going to use our formula. Distance equals rate times time. And we're looking for that r. So we have time, it's 60 minutes, although I think I'll probably just convert that to hours because they're asking for speed in miles per hour. And 60 minutes is easy to convert to hours, so that's 1 hour. So our time is going to be 1 hour. And then we'll have our rate here. Our distance, I have to do a little bit of work because she's going there and back. So it's 1 2/5 plus 1 2/5. And if I wanted to do this, this addition of fractions, I could convert from a mixed number into an improper fraction, and then since they had the same denominators, they would add easily. I think I'm just going to take a shortcut with this one, though. I'm going to add the integers first. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then I'm going to add these fractions. I have 2/5 plus 2/5, and that equals 4/5. So it's 2 4/5. So that is my distance, 2 4/5. So let's just leave it as a fraction for now. I can always convert to a decimal later. Now I want to solve this for r, and what I have to do is undo any numbers that have to do with r. r is multiplied by 1, so I would, divide by 1, and I do that to both sides of the equation, of course, dividing by 1 just leaves things the same. So I'm going to end up with this canceling, and let's see, this is miles, 2 4/5 miles. And I have 2 4/5 miles per 1 hour, or 2 4/5 miles per hour. So that is how fast she's walking. If she's doing this in an hour, that's how many miles she's going per hour. If you want to convert this to a decimal, you can plug 4 divided by 5 into your calculator, and you'd find out it would be 0.8. So this would be 2.8 miles per hour, which is a pretty nice walking pace. All right, let's do one more. And this is technically also a rate problem, but it's not the same kind of rate that we're using in the other problems. So we won't use that dirt formula. This one says Patricia paid $465 for 5 nights at a hotel. What was the nightly rate for her room? And in this case, it's sort of more like finding a unit cost. We just want to find out what 1 night costs. So we take her total cost for 5 nights and just divide it by the number of nights, divided by 5. So that's 465 divided by 5, and that is, looks like $93 per night. So those are some problems that have to do with rates.